This lesson is about predominant chords. A predominant chord expands the basic tonic-dominant-tonic phrase structure by inserting a chord that is neither tonic nor dominant, but acts as a bridge from the tonic to the dominant. So instead of tonic, dominant, tonic, instead we have tonic, predominant, which leads to the dominant, and then to the tonic. So we're expanding our phrase structure. We'll start by learning several different predominant chords, each one moving the bass by step to scale degree 5 when it goes into the 5 chord. These chords that we're going to learn today are the 4 chord, the 2-6, the 2-6-5, which is now a 7th chord, and the 4-6. As we see the examples, we'll see that typically each of the triads, the 4 chord, the 4-6, and the 2-6, double scale degree 4, while the 2-6-5 as a 7th chord and a complete chord has no doubling at all. The voice leading from the predominant to the 5 chord is very important. For the most part, the rule of thumb is to take the upper voices down when the bass goes up from 4 to 5. This is true for the 4 chord, and it's usually true for the 2-6. Let's look at a few examples and you'll see and why that's necessary. Here's a 4 chord in G major, and here's a 5 chord. The bass of a 4 chord is C, the bass of a 5 chord is D. Now let's suppose that we have a 4 chord written that way, C, G, C, E. You might be tempted to grab the nearest notes of the 5 chord, which are D, F sharp, and A, and go like that. Everything's moving by steps, so that looks good. But the problem is that we have a set of parallel fifths and a set of parallel octaves, and we don't want to do that at all. Let's go back to our 4 chord and see if we can do better. The suggestion was to take the upper voices down to the notes of the 5 chord. So E in the soprano goes down to D. C in the alto goes not to B, which isn't part of the 5 chord, but goes down a skip to A, which is part of the 5 chord. And G in the tenor goes to F sharp. So now we have a D over here, that's the root, and a D doubled there. We have a third of the chord F sharp, and we have the fifth of the chord A, and we've avoided writing parallels. I'll make a very short change here, and you'll see what a difference it's going to make. I'm going to turn this, instead of a 4 chord, into a 2-6 chord. And all I'm going to do differently is swap out the G for an A. This is a 2-6, the root is A, the third of the chord, which is in the bass, is C, the fifth of the chord E is up there, and instead of doubling the root, we'll double the C, scale degree 4. Note that the voice leading works just as it did in the 4 chord. We take the upper voices down. So now E goes to D, C goes to A just like before, and now A goes to F sharp. There is a variant of this in which instead of doubling the C in the bass, we double the root A. What would happen here? Note there's an A over here, and there's an A over here. One of the two A's goes down to the leading tone, as we do in the tenor, and the other A stays put where it is. We still go down to D in the alto, and it's perfectly acceptable. To review, the voice leading, for the 4 chord, we take the 3 upper voices down to the nearest notes of the 5 chord. And for the 2/6, it works the same way as the 4, take the upper voices down. If scale degree 2 is doubled instead of scale degree 4, one of the scale degree 2s stays while the other goes down to the leading tone the way it would have if it were by itself. Let's see what happens now if we do one of these in D minor. Remember now that a 2 chord is a diminished chord. In this key, it's E, G, and B flat, and the G is the one in the bass, and it's going to A. Here it's even more imperative that we double scale degree 4, the G. The other notes may work something like this. Voices go down, B flat goes to A, G goes to E, and E goes to C sharp. Remember to make a leading tone on the 5 chord. So what happens now if we have not a 2, but what if we wanted a 2-6-5? We need to reconfigure the upper voices. And of course this is a half diminished 7th chord. So now the notes are E, G, B flat, and D. Note here, the B flat still goes down to A. The E is going to stay, that's scale degree 2, and now the 7th of the chord, D, goes down by step to C sharp, the leading tone. Just as in the 5-7 where the 7th of the chord goes down by step, it does so in the 2-6-5, which is also a 7th chord. We have one more chord to cover here. Let's look at what happens when 4-6 goes to 5. A in the bass. This time we approach the bass not from below, but we approach it from above, from the B flat. We said that we should double scale degree 4, and there it is. We have scale degree 4 over here in the tenor. We have scale degree 4 over here in the soprano as well. The trick here is that one of these scale degree 4s is going to go up and the other one is going to go down. That's how we avoid writing parallel octaves. So if we'd like, we can take the soprano up to A, and then we have to take the tenor down to E. The alto, just as in the 2-6-5, will take a D down to C sharp. Again, to review what we did with the 4-6, here's scale degree 6 in the bass going to 5. Here's scale degree 4, that's a root of the chord. Here's another scale degree 4. This one in the soprano goes up. This one in the tenor goes down. The alto fills in the remaining very important voice going to the leading tone. To review that voice leading, on the 2-6-5, the root of the chord stays on scale degree 2. The other upper voices go down by step. For the 4-6, one scale degree 4 goes up, and the other scale degree 4 goes down, and scale degree 1 goes down to the leading tone. That's how we write and resolve these predominant chords. We'll see as we look at more music how these get used in a musical context. That's the lesson for today.